Now at 11, breaking news. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg has died. We'll take a look at the life of the groundbreaking jurist and feminist icon. We'll talk to a Cleveland man who knew her. And we'll look at what's next in the battle over the Supreme Court. Also, shedding light.
I can assure you that people will be charged with this homicide. I have absolutely no doubt.
For the first time, the private investigator in the Brian Makran mystery is speaking out how he believes the Lafayette Township trustee died. Trick or what? As families prepare for Halloween season, we'll take a look at how the holiday can still be a treat during the pandemic. And historical kickoff. On this Football Friday, we take you to Summit County, where two high school girls are helping to kick their team to victory.
From the WKYC studios, this is What's Next.
We begin with breaking news tonight. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg has died after complications from pancreatic cancer. She was 87 years old. Justice Ginsburg was a champion of women's rights who became the court's second female justice. Good evening, I'm Sarah Shookman.
And I'm Russ Mitchell. NBC's Alice Barr has a look at the life of a pioneer and what's next for the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court turning into a memorial tonight as mourners gather to say goodbye to Ruth Bader Ginsburg. The icon of the High Court and pioneer for women's rights died at home today, surrounded by her family. She was 87 and had been fighting pancreatic cancer.
She gave her life to expanding rights and understood that the country was at its best when we widened our arms.
Justice Ginsburg spent more than a quarter century on the U.S. Supreme Court in a career guided by the fight for equality.
How wrong it is to judge people on the basis of what they look like.
She helped launch the ACLU Women's Rights Project in the 1970s, and in the 1990s, President Clinton named her as the second woman on the highest court in the land. Within hours of her death, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell announced the Republican-controlled Senate would be voting for a new nominee, even though he blocked President Obama's nominee months before the 2016 election. Democrats pointing to an NPR report that Justice Ginsburg told her granddaughter her dying wish was to not be replaced until a new president is installed. Tonight, the presidential candidates paying their respects.
She was an amazing woman who led an amazing life.
She practiced the highest American ideals as a justice.
Among the many condolences pouring in, Chief Justice John Roberts writing of his colleague, quote, "Today we mourn, but with confidence that future generations will remember Ruth Bader Ginsburg as we knew her, a tireless and resolute champion of justice." In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And as Alice reported, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said tonight President Trump's eventual Supreme Court nominee will get a floor vote in the Senate. But Cleveland State University Marshall College of Law Dean Lee Fisher, who met Justice Ginsburg, told me tonight Senate confirmation may not be a lock.
There are some Republican senators like Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski who already on record prior to Justice Ginsburg dying, saying that, in fact, they don't like the idea of confirming someone in election year. And of course, Senator Mitch McConnell took that same position 4 years ago when President Barack Obama nominated Merrick Garland.
What kind of person was Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
Somebody who was solely focused on justice. She literally lived justice her whole life. She was one of those rare people who was famous even before she got on the Supreme Court.
Lee Fisher, once again, thank you very much. Happy New Year to you. I really appreciate you doing this.
Thank you very much.
Doing this, and especially on this night. So thank you.
This is the Jewish New Year, and of course, it's no accident that, or it's coincidence, I suppose, that Justice Ginsburg was Jewish herself.
And for more on the life of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, you can tune into 3 News Go. It begins at 5 a.m. We also have expanded coverage on our website.
Well, Well, back home now, will the Brian Makran mystery in Medina County ever be solved? A new podcast is saying yes. Tonight, Andrew Horansky spoke with the show's creators and a key investigator.
From day one, it never made sense why a local husband, father of three, football coach, and township trustee would choose to die.
Definitely raises some major questions, and where that leads is scary to really think about, but it doesn't seem right.
Questions at the center of a new podcast called Invisible Ships, produced by three men from Medina County who shed light. You'll hear from Brian Makran's widow, Victoria, and the family's private investigator who spoke with us about the case.
There's no question it will be solved, none at all, that I have reasonably concluded the motive for the murder,
which he won't yet reveal. It was just days before Christmas in 2016 when a maintenance worker found blood in the Lafayette Township trustee's office and signs of a fight. Then Makran's SUV turned up near Chippewa Lake just a few miles away. No sign of him until February, when a kayaker found him floating.
I think he was left somewhere and later deposited in the lake. That's what I think happened.
Investigators said little, while 3 News won a court ruling to gain access to the autopsy, learning that Makran was stabbed in the neck, forearms, and shoulder, but not fatally. The cause of death undetermined, and now new information.
We know that there is an eyewitness to part of the murder.
And that's new. This has the potential really of shaking things up.
So stay tuned. That first podcast is out. There will be 6 more in the coming weeks. That investigator says that he has multiple suspects, possibly in the Akron area. Anyone with information is asked to call police. We have more information on the podcast at WKYC.com. I'm Andrew Horansky, 3 News.
Well, some people tonight in Rootstown are now calling for the superintendent to step down after his handling of a racial issue on the gridiron. A group gathered outside the high school tonight calling for Andrew Hawkins to resign after he overturned the head football coach's discipline decision. Coach Troy Spiker had suspended a player who reportedly used racial slurs against his teammates. When Hawkins reinstated the player, Coach Spiker resigned. Some parents and students say this situation is an example of ongoing tension.
I really don't think it's right. I think there is a bigger issue here that Rootstown needs to solve. Obviously, they care more about winning football games and ticket sales than they do about the actual students that are on the team.
Now the school board says it will look into the timeline of events that led to the coach's resignation.
Halloween will no doubt look a bit different this year amid the pandemic, but health experts and some creative minds are sharing advice on how to make it safer. Amani Abraham has more.
Candy, costumes, and more candy.
Hey, happy Halloween!
But this year, it's happening during a pandemic.
I think like everything else, things are going to look different this year.
The Ohio Department of Health recommends avoiding large events and things like hay rides and haunted houses. Mapleside Farm says its hay rides will have plexiglass dividers and they'll limit their capacity. When it comes to trick-or-treating, the advice is to find safer, socially distant ways to celebrate, like holding a drive-through or drive-in trick-or-treat event. Health experts say if you plan to head out to trick-or-treat, the 6-foot rule should still apply. Consider alternative options when passing out candy. Picking up candy from a bowl can spread germs. A PVC pipe can help deliver treats and limit contact.
I've seen several things about PVC chutes of being able to hand out candy to kids down a PVC tube so it dispenses like a vending machine.
Dr. Adam Keating with the Cleveland Clinic says people are finding creative ways to have fun while keeping their distance. Wicked Makers posted their design online for a candy slide, sharing instructions on their website so you can make your own. An Ohio man created something similar, attaching it to the guardrail on his porch. Dr. Keating says you can also consider leaving candy on a table at the end of a driveway, placing the candy individually on the table for easy access.
If you're setting up one of those tables or you're giving out candy, providing hand sanitizer for the kids is going to be safe for them as well.
While some cities are moving forward with trick-or-treat night, others have opted out of it, like Copley Township in Summit County, leaving it up to individual neighborhoods to organize their own. And if there's any reason to wear a mask with your costume, this would be the year.
I suspect that doctors and ninjas are going to be popular costumes this year.
Amani Abraham, 3 News.
Well, now a check of the latest coronavirus numbers in Ohio. Today, the state reported 1,011 new cases and 28 deaths. Both numbers are on pace with the 21-day averages. The Centers for Disease Control is changing course again with its guidance for coronavirus testing. Now the CDC is recommending that anyone who is exposed to COVID-19 should be tested. The updated guidance suggested those who are exposed to an infected person for at least 15 minutes need to be tested, even if they don't have symptoms. This is a reversal of its recommendations just last month. Now, all contacts should be tested quickly and should self-isolate while waiting on those results.
Coming up tonight, a resolution to help those dealing with student loan debt, a change to the iconic Macy's Day Parade, and the installment of Cleveland's new bishop. We get you caught up with what you might have missed this week.
Plus, making school history in Summit County. Meet the girls kicking through barriers to join the football team. And Matt Standridge is with us tonight. Your weekend forecast and beyond. How's it looking, Matt?
Hey, it's looking pretty nice, mostly sunny, but it's getting chilly out there right now. In fact, we have frost advisories for Ashtabula, Mahoning, and Trumbull counties in eastern Ohio. We're going to break down how cool it's going to get overnight. It's coming up.
What's Next is sponsored by the Calvetta Brothers Floor Show. It's time to fall in love again with your home.
Hey, Joe Thomas here. I love Cleveland, I love the fans, and you're gonna love Ganley Chevy Brook Park.
Take your choice. The new 2020 Equinox or Trax, $149 a month, $149. Or drive 2020 Silverado Custom Double Cab 4x4, $329 a month, $998 down. 2020 Blazer, $297 a month, $998 down.
See my friends at Ganley Chevy Brook Park and tell them Joe sent you.
Time now to get you caught up on 3 stories you might have missed this week. Student loans are bogging down generations of Americans. But last night, Senate Democrats announced plans to forgive up to $50,000 in debt. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Elizabeth Warren say it will be nearly impossible for many borrowers to repay their college loans, especially now with the pandemic's economic fallout. Their resolution calls on President Trump to use executive action to cancel out some of that debt. Even before the coronavirus, Americans owed more than $1.5 trillion in outstanding student loans. A Thanksgiving tradition is being reimagined this year. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade will go on, but on tape. There is no actual parade route or live performances. Macy's says the balloons will still fly, but strapped to cars instead of the traditional handlers. And the new leader of Northeast Ohio's nearly 700,000 Catholics was installed on Monday. Bishop Edward Malesic is Cleveland's 12th bishop. He comes from Pennsylvania, but he told our Russ Mitchell that he's ready to root for the Browns.
All right, toughest question you'll get today. Steelers or Browns?
Well, I will answer by saying I now have a face mask that has one side the Steelers and the other side the Browns. So I'm eclectic in my, but I'm here in Cleveland. I support the Browns.
Each year, more young ladies are making high school football history and joining teams. Take Anna Sanders, who became Kenston High School's first female field goal kicker back in 2018. And Cleveland Heights players Olivia McKay and India Pulfus were even featured in a Super Bowl commercial this year. And now, meet Morgan and Alexis, the newest additions to the Coventry High School football team.
Morgan and Alexis tried out. They were asked to be a part of the team, and now they practice with the team once or twice a week at kicking, and then they kick on Friday nights.
From the very beginning, everybody always encouraged us, and it was never awkward, and they always welcomed us.
Offense, let's go.
The coaches, the staff, the boys have been so accepting of Morgan and Alexis.
There you go.
They've just embraced them. They cheer them on. They support them. The community supports them.
We come right after soccer. Start at 5:15.
My daughter's been talking about kicking for the football team for years, and I was like, just go for it. What's the worst they can do? Tell you no, right? Shit, they went for it. They were chosen.
It's mostly a male dominated position, but girls can kick just as good as guys. Same with playing football. Like, if you think you can do it, do it.
It's honestly really cool. So much fun. I love it. I mean, we have our own little separate room that we go in and change and do everything, but on the field we're one of the guys.
Yeah, and they treat us just the same too.
I'm most proud that they took a risk and put themselves out there, and they could have been told no. So I'm really proud about that. Super freaking proud.
The worst they can tell you is no, so always go for it.
Congratulations to them. That is amazing. Matt Standridge in for Betsy tonight. And Matt, it pains me to say this, but it is the last official weekend of summer.
And it's not really going to feel like it much out there, Russ. That's the problem. Except once we officially start fall on Tuesday, we're going to have a warm-up. So everything's kind of switched. Now, Russ, it's going to get really chilly tonight. In fact, some of us will likely have some patchy frost as you're waking up tomorrow morning. Can you believe it? Temperatures right now, a lot of us are in the 40s, but a few of us may get into some upper 30s throughout the overnight hours. But it's going to be a chilly start no matter where you are across Northeast Ohio. We'll have plenty of clear skies that allows all the warmth we tried to build throughout the atmosphere just kind of leaves into outer space. And so it's going to be pretty chilly tomorrow morning with a light northwest wind out there. We'll continue to have north winds, I think, most of the weekend, keeping our highs in the 60s and our lows in the 40s, and the few unlucky ones of us will be in the 30s. We have frost advisories in effect for Ashtabula County, Mahoning County, and Trumbull County as you head into eastern Ohio, right along the Pennsylvania-Ohio border. I think a lot of us could have some patchy frost here and there, but it might be a little bit more concentrated once you head a little bit further east towards our neighbors in Pennsylvania. I want to show kind of the temperatures going on right now. There's a huge spread. For example, it's about 54. We're in the mid-50s near downtown Cleveland. You head south towards Dover, we're at 45 degrees. That's almost a 10-degree temperature difference. And what's really interesting is that this time of year, a lot of times, the lake water is warmer than the air temperatures. So the closer you live to the lake, the warmer it's going to be tonight. The further inland you go, the further south you go. In fact, the colder it's going to be. Already 46 in Worcester, 49 in Akron. It's getting cool out there. We have a few high clouds every once in a while, especially coming off the lake throughout the overnight hours. Nothing to give you really kind of shower activity or anything like that. Just a few clouds. We'll have a few clouds for tomorrow too. High pressure is locked in place. So we're sticking with those dry conditions. It's just going to get chilly. That low pressure you see way on the left-hand side of your screen towards the Pacific Northwest, that's our next weather maker. But it probably won't be here until the end of next week. So we have some really nice weather in tap for us. Over the next 12 hours, we'll be getting pretty chilly overnight. Tomorrow's forecast, although we're starting cold in the upper 30s and low to mid 40s, we'll eventually top out into some 60s area wide by the lakeshore. The waves will be a little bit lower tomorrow just because the wind's starting to cool down just a little bit. Here's your National Design Mart hour by hour forecast. You want to look at this because as we head throughout the overnight hours, it is going to get cold, especially if you live south of downtown Cleveland. And that's where we have the best chance for a little bit of patchy frost. So Universal Windows Direct Forecast. Russ and Sarah, it's going to be cool this weekend. Overall, though, I think it's going to be nice. Highs in the 60s in the afternoons. But Sarah, we're expecting more kind of summer-like conditions once fall officially starts on Tuesday.
Lots of sunshine in that forecast. We'll take it. Thanks, Matt. For sure. Up next, it is week 4 of the high school football season. And Nick takes us under the Friday night lights when we're back with sports.
This sports report is sponsored by the people-pleasing people at Serra Auto Park in Akron.
Welcome back. Well, we've got the makings of what could be a great weekend in the world of sports. The Browns got the party started last night. The Indians are making their playoff push. We got high school football back, college football, U.S. Open golf here on WKYC, the NBA playoffs. It's busy right now. Let's start with the Tribe. Here we go. Sandy Alomar and the Indians in Motown looking for back-to-back wins over the Tigers. And This is just how it's been going for the Tribe offense sometimes. It's not often that we recap a sack, fly, RBI, but Francisco Lindor gets the job done here. He sends this one to center field. It's enough to score Delino DeShields. 1-0 good guys in the 5th. Believe it or not, that's the only run the Indians would score, but that's okay because here's the story. Zach Plesac, the Tribe right-hander, downright filthy. 7 2/3 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts, no runs. He only gave up 5 hits. The Indians not winning the prettiest game, but a win is a win. They beat the Tigers 1-0 in the Motor City. Game 3 of this 4-game weekend series set for tomorrow at 6:10. A little bit of an earlier start. Tristan McKenzie goes for the Tribe. Hey, after tomorrow, think about this. Only 8 games left in the regular season for the Indians. Well, if you're still celebrating last night's Browns victory, you know what? I don't blame you. I mean, how often have we done this? And at the same time, I know it was the Bengals. I know it's one game, but a win is a win for them too, right? In dissecting last night's win here on Victory Friday, the thing that really stuck out is that Browns offensive rushing attack. I mean, you look at Nick Chubb, you look at Kareem Hunt. They rushed for a combined 210 yards on the ground. Those guys were incredible. It helped open up the passing attack, and nobody understands that more than Baker Mayfield.
You always want to get the ball in your playmakers' hands early, just to keep them in the game, keep them locked in. Just so, teams have to focus on it and just worry about those guys. They're obviously so talented. So, yeah, I mean, it starts up front once again. We were able to get that run game going, get those keepers going, get the ball in their hands, find completions early and often, and that's what can happen.
Already week 4 of the high school football season. We know it's a shortened season. These teams are only going to play 6 games, but every school is going to make the playoffs. So all of these games are critical now for computer points. Let's start with Avon. The Eagles are a fantastic team. Coach Mike Elder, he does it every year it seems, and his Eagles offense continues to roll. Nico Pappas running the bootleg to perfection here. North Olmsted's defense can't catch him. Avon's up 7-0. Pappas using his legs again in the second quarter, sells the pump fake, takes it to the house. Running back Devin Hunter added 3 more touchdowns. Avon rolls 42-14. They're 4-0. Let's go to the Amherst Comets. They were trying to remain unbeaten. Tough test against Avon Lake, though. Third quarter, Shorman up 2 touchdowns, and their defense comes up big here. Nathan Sacalo pounces on the fumble to keep the Comets off the scoreboard. And how about this? Avon Lake winning 21-7. And we finish up in Euclid. Strongsville taking on Euclid. Mustangs coming back in this one to win a big game against the Panthers. Euclid was up early, 13-0, but Strongsville picks up an impressive 35-26 win at Euclid. Russ, it is very busy in the world of sports. My head is spinning right now.
I know. There's medicine for that, but you look fine, Nick, so it's all good.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon.
I appreciate it.
We are coming right back. Stay with us.
The headline tonight, Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg is dead at 87. While the tributes to her extraordinary life are just beginning, Russ, of course, so are the questions about who will replace her on the bench and when, with the election just 46 days away.
That is correct. All right, Sarah, good night to you. Shana Tova, to our friends who are observing, good night to all. We'll see you next week.